Hello, my darlings. I hope you're all well and having a fabulous day. In today's video, I'm going to be dropping a quick recap of Celebrity Big Brother episode 15. I am dropping daily recaps of this whole season, so if that sounds like something that you're interested in, click the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Things are really starting to wind down now, as ultimately there's only 6 housemates left in the house. So, the episode showed the run-up to last night's evictions, generally showing the mood in the house, which was very mixed. Zizi just looked like she'd had enough, to be honest with you. She didn't seem enthusiastic anymore, and she looked a bit miserable, to be honest. Marisha seemed indifferent, and she was still putting her best foot forward. Nikita was very nervous because ultimately he really didn't want to go home, but he was still pissed after the silly argument that him and Fern had. So, actually, backtrack to yesterday. To be quite honest, I think Fern was a bit tipsy or drunk. Everyone was having a drink, to be fair, and all of a sudden, Fern started to get a bit snipey with Nikita based on a comment that he had made to her days ago that she thought was ageist and rude, ultimately. So he had said to her, "Fern, I like your stripy jumper. Stripes are really on trend right now." She thought that from that comment he was trying to offend her, but she didn't address it at the time. But on that night, she ended up saying to him, "How old are you, Nikita?" "About 26. Well, put it this way, when you're 66, like me, you will still have the same brain and sense of humour. Age doesn't make a difference." And he was like, whoa, like, are we having a beef, Fern? Where's all this coming from, kind of thing? What do you mean? And Fern, she was clearly disgruntled, basically, and everybody could see that she was a bit disgruntled, but I really think that she was a bit drunk, so she was really acting a bit out of character. People were kind of like looking away like, oh my god, this is a bit awkward. But to be fair, as we know and as I've mentioned, she has nominated her every single time, and she's obviously aware of the last nomination. I don't know, he has indirectly made ageist suggestions, I think, towards her, because this is something that I did actually mention, I think, in the last nominations. And even though she obviously hasn't seen, I feel like she can sense that that's the thoughts that he may have. So whether she was right or wrong for her approach with him is to be determined. However, I do feel like she's kind of hit the nail on the head with him. She does understand what he's really thinking about her. So, anyway, back to tonight's episode. So, Louis could be heard in the diary room telling Big Brother that he thinks Fern should leave, and had had the nerve to say, "Don't forget she nominated me." The whole snake gate thing, it was a bit snaky. He's something else. And ultimately he was saying he wants Marisha to stay, as she's more fun and entertaining, got a better energy, she cooks, and if Fern goes, nobody would miss her. So, fast forward, as we know, Zizi and Marisha were both evicted from the house. But just before the eviction, the housemates played a game called Big Balls, where they could win a takeaway. The team who won could win a takeaway. And oh, guys, during this game, Fern ended up getting injured accidentally by none other than Nikita. She banged her head, basically. She was in a bit of a daze and ended up having to get checked over and spent some time in the diary room. And obviously, like, Nikita was like, oh shit, like, oh, why does it keep happening between me and her, kind of thing. And he did feel a bit bad, and he didn't even want to carry on playing the game, like, afterwards. I don't know why Big Brother allowed them to play such a game. I think I mentioned before, Fern has had a shoulder replacement. She's a bit of a fragile woman. And we all know Louis in no position to be playing those kind of rough games. So ultimately, I haven't mentioned what the game is. Basically, they had, I think it was like, they had pins and balloons, and the team that popped the most balloons won the takeaway. So they got a bit rough ultimately. So anyway, random bit of tea for tonight. Louis said that he knows Colin Farrell really well from back home, and originally he auditioned for Boyzone, but he couldn't sing. And apparently Louis said to him, do you know what, you're wasting your time because you can't sing. If acting's what you want to do, then you need to pursue it, basically. And obviously he did, and he's the Colin Farrell sexy guy that we know today. And that was it, to be honest. So Fern is now the only lady in the house, and left over we have Colin, Nikita, Bradley, David and Louis. Louis finished up with he thinks Fern is playing a serious game, and he still doesn't know the real her, and he thinks Nikita is also playing a serious game. So we shall see, because ultimately we have 2 days left, and I believe there will be a surprise eviction tomorrow. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm sure there was supposed to be a surprise shock eviction tonight. It was announced on Tuesday night after Marisha and Zizi got evicted. Well, it actually didn't happen, and I just checked my phone, and the Mirror has confirmed that there's been a bit of argy-bargy going on, basically. So the shock eviction did actually happen tonight, but it wasn't aired ultimately. So tomorrow, i.e. Thursday night, they won't do a live eviction. They're literally just going to replay it happening, I think is the case, and show the interview. It's a bit odd. Don't know what's going on, but tomorrow expect to see the shock eviction. But that's it. We're literally winding down. Who do you think is going to win Celebrity Big Brother 2024? Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. I think, to be honest, Fern may scoop it. Fern or David. I was thinking it may be Nikita, but I feel like we're beginning to see a bit of a side to him that's not so... I don't want to say it's not so nice, but we just weren't seeing anything from him before, and he was just this nice guy, this attractive guy that everybody just seemed to like. But we didn't see the justification because we didn't know him, so to speak. But I feel like these bumps that he's having with Fern, as much as, I don't know, well, the public are saving Fern, right? So as much as she is getting booed, the live audience were booing for her, somebody likes her. There's a lot of people out there that like her. And also as well, I really don't feel like people will take too kindly to ageist comments. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really feel like he's a favourite anymore, but I feel like it could be Fern and it could be David. David is also starting to come out of his shell and is starting to kind of share a bit more about himself. Even though he hasn't really gone in depth, he's kind of starting to let us know why he uses his jokes and that loud personality as a defense mechanism. He's to cope basically with, issues that he went through during school, which was ultimately bullying for who he is, his sexuality, etc. So he's starting to share a bit more about himself, and I generally do think that he's liked. That's that, my darlings. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.